Is it possible to over-prepare for your asylum interview? Like, if you prepare thoroughly, do you risk sounding rehearsed or scripted such that the asylum officer may think that you're not being genuine? Well, I have a strong opinion on this one, and it may be different from what you're hearing from other folks. And if we're just not meeting, I'm Brian Manning, and I'm a political asylum lawyer. I help people all over the country secure their future in the United States through asylum. And by the way, I just launched a new Facebook group for people who want to learn more about asylum. It's called Asylum Seekers United. Come join us there in the Asylum Seekers United Facebook group, where I'm answering people's questions and providing asylum trainings. Okay, so should you prepare thoroughly for your asylum interview, or could that cause you to sound disingenuous, like you're just repeating some story that you memorized? A lot of document preparers and so-called notarios, and even some immigration lawyers, are in the latter group. Many of them think that you should basically just show up at your interview without taking steps to prepare for it. They say you should just go with the flow and that you'll be fine if you just answer the officer's questions. The idea is that you could do more harm than good by actively preparing for your interview, that by preparing you could sound inauthentic. You could sound rehearsed and scripted, and this could cause the officer to not believe you, which can lead to them denying your case. Well, I actually disagree with that, strongly, in fact. In my experience, which includes 11 years working for the government's two main agencies for asylum and refugee matters, it's much better to err on the side of over-preparation. When I was an asylum officer with the government, it was clear which applicants had prepared for their interview and which hadn't. Those who had not done so tended to forget a lot of things about their own application materials, which in some cases had been submitted years before the interview took place. And many people were clearly overwhelmed by the interview itself. They had no clue what they were getting into, and they were just taken aback by just how stressful this experience can be. You see, if you don't know what you're getting into, you're much more likely, in my opinion, to be stressed out and to make small mistakes in your interview. And if you don't know all the details of your case, forward and backward, you're likely to make mistakes during your interview, to confuse a date, change a name, or say something that just doesn't quite line up with something that was in your application materials, or something that you said earlier during your interview. And these little mistakes cost people. They can damage your case. In fact, when an asylum officer doesn't believe someone or simply doesn't want to grant them asylum, it's these little errors, these inconsistencies, that the officer relies on in denying the case. You see, if your testimony is detailed, consistent, and plausible, and the facts that you've presented indicate that you're likely to be persecuted on account of one of the 5 protected characteristics under U.S. asylum law, then the officer pretty much has to grant you asylum. They can't just say, well, I didn't like the feeling I got from that one. Their supervisor will not accept that as a reason for denying your case. They have to point to something concrete to be able to deny you. Now, understand that if they don't want to give you asylum or don't believe you, they are going to look for a reason to justify the outcome that they want to get to. They're going to look for something that passes muster as a valid reason for denying an asylum claim. And they do this by pointing to inconsistencies in your case. And in my experience, you have a much better chance of minimizing these inconsistencies if you take proactive steps to prepare for your interview. I talk in other videos about the exact things that you can do in this regard, and I take my own clients through a rigorous process to this end. But suffice it for now to say that you definitely can do things before your asylum interview to enhance your chances for success. Is it possible that doing so could make you sound rehearsed or scripted? Yes, but I firmly believe that this is better than the alternative. You see, an asylum officer can't deny your case just because they think you sounded scripted or rehearsed, but they can deny you if there are inconsistencies in your case. And that's why I think it's much better to prepare thoroughly for your interview. Yes, you may sound scripted, although I promise you, if done correctly, it doesn't have to be that way. But at least you're not giving the officer an excuse to deny your case. And if you have questions about this, feel free to leave them in the comments below this video or send me a direct message on Instagram or Facebook. My page on both platforms is @ManningAsylumLaw. That's @ManningAsylumLaw. And my YouTube channel is called the same thing, Manning Asylum Law. Be sure to join us in the Asylum Seekers United Facebook group. It's an honor to support you in your asylum journey.